All of you here, braving the weather. It's cold outside, but it's good to have the spirit of what Al-Ghazali represents. This is a long tradition of the life of this institution. It has a rich history. We have some of our distinguished past speakers here tonight that I'll let Professor Hawk speak to. I do want you to know that this lecture represents a part of the life of our religious tradition, and that there's a place for everybody in that. And our president, Dr. Troy Van Aken, since he's come, has been a deep and abiding support and help in thinking and building and encouraging that. And so we are blessed that we have this history that is in our 150th anniversary as Elmhurst University, a foundation upon which to spring out and to work together, to think, to bring Fenwick High School and others, members of the larger Chicago community, to bear, to help us with the issues of the day. And to help us with those issues of the day and to think together about what we do here and all of us, we've asked our president, Dr. Troy Van Aken, to offer words of welcome. Will you join me in welcoming Dr. Van Aken, please?
Scott summed it up, but I do want to welcome you back to campus. Some of you I haven't seen for 2 years here on campus. Great to have our Fenwick partners here as well. You know, colleges and universities ought to be a place where people understand things better. And sometimes it seems like in our society today, it's just polarized groups either screaming at each other or not talking at all. And so tonight's lecture, I think, represents the best of what we're trying to accomplish here, where we can kind of better understand different things. And so it's great to see some of the speakers from previous years here as well. And I just really wanted to welcome you here. Thank you for coming. Scott said it's our 150th year. That's called sesquicentennial for our Fenwick people. It's a word you have to practice a couple times. But I'd like to invite you all back to this building on December 6th, where we envision the whole building from the ground floor, which is the Roost, to the cafe, which is one floor below this, to this is going to be taken over with a grand celebration to look back at 150 years of institutional progress. But as importantly, we're going to look ahead to the next 150 years. And so all of you are welcome to come back. We've got a whole bunch of activities. I heard there were going to be sled dogs on the campus that particular day. There's going to be carriage rides. But really, the moment that you'll want to be here is from 6:30 till 7, where we'll have a formal celebration and a toast to this institution. If for some reason you can't come, and I'd really like you to be here, we will be streaming that, and we'll make sure that all the different friends of the institution get the streaming video so that you can at least watch the link if you're someplace else and you can't be here. And I do get the privilege of introducing Professor Hawk. I mean, a real treasure at this institution. He's not the loudest, although he probably could be if he needed to be, but he is high impact. And you know, he's a little bit like, if you ever heard the old commercials, E.F. Huck. When he calls and wants to talk to you, you know he's not going to waste your time. And some of the progress that we're making right now is due to seeds that he and Chaplain Matheny planted, you know, when I had the good fortune of coming here about 5.5 years ago. So Professor Hawk, please feel free to come forward and welcome us properly.
Thank you, Dr. Troy, for your kind words. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, I'm really thankful to all of you and our young students that in this challenging weather they made effort to be here this evening. Dear friends, since the dawn of modernity, Muslim societies are facing many challenges. The convulsions which modernity has created in the Muslim world are not hidden now, whether it's political realm or social, cultural, or economic realm. But at the very foundation of these crises is the crisis of education, which we have not paid enough attention to. Madrasa represents a great Islamic tradition that during its peak days it offered a broad universal knowledge and created many luminaries that humanity continues to benefit from them. But now in the age of decline, they lost their vigor and their creativity, and Western imperialism further pushed them to the corner. Because modern society wanted to create a new set of education which was needed to build a bureaucracy and infrastructure of the modern state. The madrasa gradually cocooned itself and wanted to preserve faith and safeguard against the encroaching modern world. But gradually we are realizing, and madrasa is also realizing, that modern is not only the invading European armies, which can be defeated with committed militancy, as British were forced to leave in India about a century ago, and America was forced to leave just a month ago from Afghanistan. But there is a greater realization that modern Western nations represent a universal civilization which has surrounded us from all dimensions. It is no longer possible to ignore it or dismiss it. I myself studied in a madrasa for almost 7 years as a child and as a young person. It was very peaceful, very blissful, and wonderful place to be. But it was very static. Nothing changed there. We lived in a kind of eternal time, and the latest book we studied was probably 500 years old. While it offered peace, there was always the realization of a menacing world outside, which is there to attack us, and therefore a great desire to keep the windows to the outside world shut. When I left the madrasa and entered the real world, it was the greatest shock of my life. Something similar to when Adam left paradise and came to earth, trying to figure out how he is going to live on this earth. That peace of madrasa has always been with me inwardly, but in real life it has been a continuous struggle that how I should reconcile the two words. And many times I realized that it's not easy to reconcile them. To navigate all these issues, we have a great sheikh with us, Sheikh Ebrahim Moosa. Ghazali says that if you want to pursue a spiritual path, you need to have a sheikh, because it is like mountain climbing. And you cannot climb a mountain unless someone has already climbed it and he knows all the pitfalls and all the dangerous cliffs which will come your way. So Sheikh Ebrahim Moosa has climbed the mountain. Born in apartheid South Africa, he searched for knowledge of religion and traveled to India and attended Deoband and Nadwatul Ulama, a very famous religious seminaries and institution. But his search for knowledge continued, and he attended the best Western universities, and now he is at Notre Dame with Keough School of Global Affairs. Madrasa taught him tradition, but now he is heading a project which wants to educate modernity to madrasa, a contending modernity project which he is doing. Professor Moosa wrote many articles in scholarly journals and authored many books. His book, What is Madrasa, is probably the only book in English language which studies the nature and structure of Madrasa, and it is available here for sale after the program, and he will be very happy to sign it. His book, Ghazali and the Poetics of Imagination, received the highest prize from American Academy of Religion, and his book, Revival and Reform in Islam, in which he edited Fadlur Rahman's work on this topic, and many others. He was here many years ago when we started Al-Ghazali lectures, and we are happy that he is back again delivering an important talk to us. So without further delay, I invite Dr. Sheikh Ebrahim Moosa to talk.